All right, so in this video, we are going to see the emergence of two states that arise out of the ashes of the Holy Roman Empire. Remember, the Holy Roman Empire was destroyed as a political unit by the Peace of Westphalia at the end of the 30 Years' War. Now, it still existed on the map, still had borders, which you can see on the screen in red, but each of those kingdoms kind of did its own thing. And both of these states that emerged are going to play major parts in modern European history. The first one we're going to look at is Prussia, which you can see in Northern Europe there in that gray color. And it started off small, but it's going to have a huge importance in modern history because eventually Prussia evolves into Germany, which Germany, of course, plays a big role in World War I and World War II. And right now in Europe, it is the economic leader of the European Union. So the emergence of Prussia is a huge deal. And for our purposes, we can really mark the real beginnings of Prussia mattering when they picked Frederick William the Great Elector to be their leader. He was elected by his fellow nobility, hence the title Elector. And he actually comes to power during the 30 Years' War, which helps explain why the military was so important to Frederick William. I mean, imagine if you came in charge of a kingdom during the middle of a war, the military would be one of your highest priorities. And see, Prussia has some problems. It's a new power, so it needs to prove itself. It doesn't have as many natural borders as other countries. If you look at England, for instance, being completely surrounded by water, that's why it hasn't been invaded since 1066 AD. Italy surrounded by water on three sides, with the Alps to the north. It lacked a lot of those natural fortifications. Also, it was surrounded by potential enemies who were sometimes their allies, then back to their enemies, sometimes all in the same war. Basically, its relationship with other countries was as complicated as high school drama. So the solution to that is have a large standing full-time army, a professional army. Traditionally, countries only had large armies during times of crisis. They would put a call out to the people, put down your pitchforks, we got to fight. Right? Frederick Williams' solution is no, have a full-time professional, well-trained, well-armed, standing army. Not some army you call when there's a crisis, but a full-time army where a soldier is a profession. It'll be what you do for a living, which begins to set the example for other countries. Other countries like France are going to have to copy it, and European countries are going to have large full-time standing armies to compete. So eventually, Prussia has the third largest army in Europe, even though it is nowhere close to being the biggest in size, land-wise. It will have the third biggest army in Europe, become a military power all the way up until Prussia evolves into Germany. And then that brand new Germany will also be a military power. Right? So there's a strong strain of militarism that runs throughout Prussian and eventually German culture. And as I said, Germany will play a major part in modern history, particularly as of World War I and World War II. Another state that arose was the Austrian Empire. Now, the Habsburg family, if you remember, they were the ruling family of the Holy Roman Empire, and another branch of the Habsburgs ruled Spain as well. But the Peace of Westphalia, it really put a dent in their plans, so to speak, with killing the Holy Roman Empire as a political unit, and they kind of pick up the pieces and create the Austrian Empire, which also will have a huge role to play in World War I. But it's hard running the Austrian Empire. All of those ethnicities you see on the screen made up the Austrian Empire. The Austrians, the Czechs, Hungarians, Transylvanians, Croatians, Slovenians, and there's even more not even listed at this point in your book, like the Slovaks. And each ethnicity had a different language. There are different religions. Some were Catholic, some were Protestant. You have a handful of Muslims. You had a Jewish population in the Austrian Empire as well. Keeping all of that together is amazingly difficult and hard to do. It's what we call a multinational state with many nationalities, so multinational state. Now, you could argue, well, America's a multinational state, and we've done a pretty good job of it. Yeah, that's because a lot of the people that come here, they want to be here, right? They are volunteering for the American system, so to speak. Some of these ethnicities, like the Hungarians, they don't want to be part of the Austrian Empire because they're not Austrian. They want their own country of Hungary, and then the Czechs want their own countries, and the Croats want their own country, and the Romanians, I forgot the Romanians want their own country as well. So if you're the leader of the Austrian Empire, it's really hard to keep all of that together. It's terribly difficult. It's always going to be full of tension, and it is no wonder that the Austrian Empire is going to be one of the leading causes of World War One. All that tension that exists there is not going to take a whole lot to set it off. This multinational state. See, it's just too many national or ethnic groups to manage very well. And so if you're the Austrian Empire ruler, any day your empire survives, it's a good day.